Okay, good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning team call. So today we are going to literally be going step by step through everything when it comes to inviting, to following up, to getting to that yes, so that, you're not being weird, you're not being salesy, and you're seeing yeses. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to share my screen. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, step by step, invite through follow-up. So it literally all starts on social media. And I think for all of us, it starts on Instagram. I think we're sharing things to Facebook, but I know for me, and I think for all of you guys, this is really like you're building it on Instagram and Facebook is kind of secondary, and that's normal. Our demographic and the people that we're speaking to are mostly on Instagram anyways. So, all right, first things first, IG stories. This is huge, literally so important. So I would say somewhere between 7-ish to 12 to maybe like 15 stories every single day, depending on you, your personality, what you would want to see from people, and what you have to say that day. And if you guys need more information on like, okay, well, what the heck am I supposed to post? How am I supposed to come up with 7 things to say or 7 things to show and do every single week? Or every single day. And a great tool is the business activity tracker. And you will hear me talk about this a lot today. But it literally gives you, I think 6 or 7 things. I think it's 6 to post every single day. So that's like, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's just things like daily life, your workout, things like that. And if you can consistently do that every single day, that's how people are going to get to know you. And people will never say yes to you if they don't know, like, and trust you. Those are the 3 big things. And I never, ever, 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 ever want you guys to forget that. Know, like, and trust. People have to know, like, and trust you to feel like they can say yes to you, to feel like they can buy something from you, to feel like they can invest anything, whether that's time, the time that it takes to start working out consistently, or the time that it takes to be a coach, or whether that's the money, the challenge pack. They have to feel like they know, like, and trust you to want to invest, right? Okay. A daily post. So we should be posting every single day. I typically say, like, if you can post at least, I think 7 days a week is ideal, okay? If you're having an off week, 5 should be your absolute minimum. And that should not be consistent. You shouldn't be like, okay, I only have to post five times a week. That should not be consistent. That should be like, you're having an off week, it's just extra crazy, and there's a couple of days that you just don't do it. But I would never, ever go below 5, okay? And try to be strategic. Like, even if I am having one of those insane weeks where I'm like, okay, I know I'm only going to be able to post 6 days this week, I try to say, okay, well, my posts don't get a ton of likes and a ton of attention on Fridays because that's just not when my audience is there. And if you guys have a business account, you can go into your analytics and you can see when people are on. You can see what time of day your followers are on. You can see what days of the week they're on the most. And you can kind of like use that to your advantage. And when you're doing these daily posts, this should really be pulling your audience in. And if you guys see my posts, which I'm assuming most of you guys do, I have long captions. But that being said, all of you guys have either at the very least gone through a sneak peek with me or talked to me and know that I'm a freaking chatty Cathy and I never shut up. So that's just me. That's just who I am. I talk a lot and I can't help it. And it's just what happens. And so that happens on my posts. But that's okay, because the people that know, like, and trust me, or will someday know, like, and trust me, are cool with that. And guess what? Some people won't read them. I'm going to be totally honest. Yes, I'm totally the person that posts really long captions. I'm also the person that doesn't read most captions, but it just feels right for me. And sometimes you just have to go with your gut. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, this feels like the right thing. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for it. And I want to tell my story. And what I will say is when a caption is really long, but it captivates me or I can relate to it, I'm going to watch it through the end. So your posts should tell your story. They should tell people who you were before Beachbody, before working out, before being healthy, before you decided that you wanted to start working out consistently, before you decided that you wanted to help other people do the same. This could be who you were as a child. I talk about that all the time. You know, I have distinct memories of things that my parents said to me when I was a kid. And from the time I was literally like, I don't even know, probably like 8 or 9 years old. I was a gymnast and I was the worst gymnast ever. I did it. I was like so dedicated and I did it for like 16 years, but I sucked. I literally sucked, but I loved it. And so I kept going. But I was also super self-conscious because all of my gymnast friends, first of all, they were really good. And they had that gymnast build. They were kind of shorter. They were like super muscular. They had abs. And I was like a little bit chubby. And my parents told me I had baby fat, but at the same time, I would complain about it. I'm like, I just want to be skinny. I want to be skinny. I want to be skinny. I want to be skinny. And I remember my dad would always tell me, it's not just working out and it's not just nutrition. You literally have to have both. So sometimes I talk about that. Like, yeah, my dad told me for years and years and years that I had to have both. But I had to figure that out on my own. And I wish I would have listened to him back then. And it's just those stories that you pull from your own life experiences that someone else is going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. My mom used to say that to me. Or like, oh my gosh, like when I was in college, I took this like health class and they were like, you have to have both things. And I like wrote it off because I was in college. But then I realized like as I got older, my metabolism slowed down. Like literally people will become you within your story. And it's crazy. But people will be like, oh my gosh, I relate to that so much. And that's like literally one of my favorite things about doing sneak peeks is, and most of you guys are in a sneak peek, but not all of you. But that's okay. But it's just seeing like, as I tell my story, people are like, holy crap, me too. And that's what you want. You literally want people to be like, oh, same girl, same. How are you in my head? And that is literally what you're reaching for every single time you post, whether it's on your Instagram story or whether it's on your page, you are pulling people in to say, oh, how did you know that about me? Because I'm exactly the same as you. And that's why it's so important to be vulnerable and to be open and to be relatable. And this is something that takes time and takes practice, you know. I used to, when I first started, I would post a picture of probably like a sweaty selfie and like some cute emojis, probably, you know, like, and that's okay, because that's where we all have to start. But what I'm here for is to help you move quicker than I did, okay? So it's important that anytime you can, you're innovating. There are so many people out there now who want to be a quote unquote fitness influencer or a health coach or just an influencer in general. And you have to stand out in the crowd. It's like, it's becoming a necessity. And 2 years ago, if you would have started this, I wouldn't necessarily say that. But now if you want to be successful, you have to look like you have it together, because we should have it together. And if you're like, I don't have it together, I feel like a crazy person, that's okay. You just have to have like one step more together than everybody that's watching you. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to be an expert in anything except what you're telling people that you are an expert in. And then you just have to know one step more than they do. And literally, that could be Google. That could be something that Autumn said in the Ultimate Portion Fix. That could be the Beachbody blog. That could be literally any resource that you can find, or that could be things like Canva. and Unfold and, showing your workouts and showing music or sharing why you're drinking your shake rather than just a picture of your shake. Share how your metabolism has changed. Like, if you can just share more than what your followers are sharing as far as like value, entertainment, and things like that, you're good. So I don't want you to overthink this and be like, well, all right, I'm out. I can't do that. I'm not innovative. Like, you literally just have to be one step ahead, just one step ahead. And that's what will make you stand out among so many other people, so many other Beachbody coaches, and so many other people who want to be influencers that aren't willing to go the extra mile or even like the extra block, okay? Because a lot of people are not willing to go one step further. Just one. Okay, sorry. Now, let's get in. And the reason that I wanted to start with this, because I want you to understand everything I talk about as far as inviting, following up, conversations, everything I say literally will not work if you don't do everything that we just talked about. And I say that because we're going back to the know, like, and trust thing. Now, granted, your warm market's a little bit different, and we'll talk about that. But once you are moving into talking to people that you maybe have never talked to before or that you're not super close to, or maybe you literally don't know them, this is key. It's key because this is how they will get to know you and find out if you're their tribe and vice versa, okay? So the following process that I'm about to spill the beans on will not work if you skip this step, okay? All right. The connection. And you guys are going to notice a theme. I'm basically, and this was like honestly kind of totally by accident. I realized it kind of later as I was doing this presentation. I'm essentially going through the invite follow-up process that's outlined on the business activity tracker. Okay, so that thing is amazing. All right, the connection. So for your warm market, think about people who you know that could either benefit from our challenge group or could benefit as a coach. What do you have to offer them that you can tell them? And I use this example a lot, but I think it's a really good one. So I have like 3 of my very closest friends when I first started all had completely different quote unquote issues. One of them, she used to be a dancer and she went to college, kept dancing, but then she went to grad school, couldn't stay on the dance team, and started to gain some weight. Well, she knew nothing about like working out and eating healthy because she never had to, because she was always dancing so much that she was this teeny tiny little thing, super, super fit. And she like freaked out because she started to gain weight and like her body looked a way that she had never seen before. So when I started this, I was like, oh my gosh, girlfriend, I've got it for you. And she was actually my very first friend that ever signed up. She was like, I'm sold, because she needed structure. She needed somebody to tell her like, step by step, this is what you need to do. Here's the workout you need to do. Here are videos that go along with it. Here's what you should be eating. Here's a meal plan with a grocery list and literally everything. And it worked for her. And she lost all the weight and has kept it off. And that was literally 1.5 years ago. I had another friend who literally hated the gym. She was so intimidated by it. She would go and literally go on the treadmill and kill herself on the treadmill and hated it. And I was like, okay, well, I've got gold for you, because guess what? I just found home workouts that aren't stupid and suck, because I've done tons of home workouts, which is why I was skeptical about this at first. And I actually talked about this on my Instagram story yesterday, that when I signed up as a coach, I literally asked Allie, I was like, do I have to do these workouts? Because I think home workouts are stupid and I don't think I'm going to see results. And I just got certified as a personal trainer. So like, I already know what I'm doing. And she was like, maybe just like give it a shot. And I did, and I was amazed. So I was like excited. I saw a 7-day transformation. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away, and I just wanted to share it with everyone. And so I figured out what my friends needed. And I reached out to them and I explained what I had to offer. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was so excited and I had literally no idea what I was doing. I threw up on people. Don't do that. And I had some friends that like literally ghosted me. And I was like, what the heck? And that's going to happen. But you just have to take it with a grain of salt and understand that you should never have to be apologetic for your passion. And if you truly do see the value in this, there's nothing wrong with helping other people and sharing it with them, okay? So that being said, always keep in the back of your head that this is literally always about them. Always about them. Get out of your head that you're looking for that Success Club point or you're looking for that commission. That doesn't matter because none of you guys started for that reason. You started because either you wanted to get healthy and then you wanted to pay it forward, or you already had some kind of fitness routine in place that you were enjoying and you wanted to help others. We all want to help other people. Keep that in the front of your mind all the time that you just want to help other people, okay? And so when you're speaking to them, make that shine through. You know, don't just tell people like, hey, I just signed up as a Beachbody coach. Do you want to join my challenge group? What does that mean? What is a Beachbody coach? Or, oh, I've heard of Beachbody coaches and I've only heard bad things. Because there are people in this business that do exactly what I'm telling you not to do, and they are the ones that give us a bad name. Don't be one of the ones that give us a bad name. Be someone that makes people like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've heard, like I have a friend that works with a Beachbody coach and she's like, her life is completely transforming and I was kind of thinking about it. I'm so glad you reached out to me. Like, that's how we want people to feel, right? Okay, as far as your cold market, exact same rules apply. And think about what you would want. If someone was coming at you with a connection, what would you want? If somebody started following you randomly, okay? And I'm not really necessarily talking about the invite so much right now. I'm talking about more like, okay, how do I get more eyes on me? How do I really become that influencer with, and you don't need tons and tons of followers, but you need enough followers that you're not running out of people to invite and you're not running out of people to talk to and you're not running out of people to share with. That's why this stuff is important. It's important to make our connections. And I've talked about this before, so I don't really want to go super deep into it because I talk about this a lot when we do our power hours, but this just means finding people to follow. If you want to like their photos and it feels genuine, do that. If you want to comment on their photos and it feels genuine, do that. If you want to watch their story and comment on some of their stories or send them some of the emojis that are on stories, do that. That's okay. If it ever doesn't feel good, don't do it. And, there are times where we have to get uncomfortable and get out of our comfort zone, but there's a difference between getting out of your comfort zone, but knowing that it's going to be good in the long run, to doing the wrong thing and doing something that just feels icky, something that feels salesy. And there's a clear difference between those two things. And if you need to talk on the side about like what that means, we totally can. But I just want you to understand that there really is a difference between those two things. And so you need to get really clear on what that is. All right, the invite. This is the best part. Okay, so the best advice I could ever give you is to be you. Okay? Literally just be you. Invite someone how you would want to be invited. And a really good example of this is if someone came at me in my DMs that I was following and I had never talked to them before, and they were like, oh my God, and I had, oh my gosh, I literally just lost my train of thought. And I like hadn't posted anything about this like recently. And they just came and they were like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that your dog is really cute. I'd be like, okay. It'd be one thing if I had it on my story and they like replied to my story and they were like, oh my gosh, he's the cutest thing ever. I'd be like, dude, I know. But if they're coming at me randomly and they're not commenting on the photo of my dog, they're just coming into my inbox and they're saying, oh my gosh, you have such a cute dog. I'd be like, thanks, weirdo. Because that's what we're trained to think. And it's sad, but it's true. Because how many people are in your inbox saying, hey, Rayleigh, I just wanted to let you know that you have like such a great page, and I'm a rep for this luxury hair care company, and I just think you'd be really, really great, and I think you have beautiful hair, and I just wanted to know if you'd like more information. And you're like, I literally have no idea who you are. I don't follow you, and I'm gonna ghost you now. That's what I do. I started doing that. I'm like, if I don't follow you and you're coming at me out of nowhere and I've never liked any of your stuff and I've never like watched your stories, I'm literally like, delete. I don't have time for that. I have a business to run and I don't have time to answer messages from people who I don't follow. Okay? So you have to find the balance. And something that I will say, I'm going to keep using you as an example, Rayleigh, because we've talked about this. It's been a while, so like maybe things have changed. However, we have talked about before how you like making connections. You like having the quote unquote small talk. Okay? And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's okay. This is just an example. And you like just talking to people, getting to know them. Okay, that's great, because that's probably what you would want too. And then as you continue to connect and as they're like watching you and you're still, maybe like you guys don't talk for a little bit, but you know that you had a good connection, and then it feels good, like, hey, you know, I connected with this girl. I'm going to send her an invite. Do that. If you're like me and you're like, I literally don't really like talking to people a lot. If I don't know you, I don't really want to talk to you in depth. That's how my people are. That's how my tribe is. So guess what? And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but if those people are watching me, I have no problem going straight in with the invite. But you just have to be super, super clear on the difference and do what feels good in your gut. If it feels salesy, if it feels gross, don't do it. If it feels uncomfortable, if it feels like you're stepping out of your comfort zone, if it feels like, oh my gosh, this is so scary, but this is what they're telling me to do, and I think that it's going to change everything, then do it, okay? You just have to be authentically you and think about how you would want somebody to treat you. I actually had a girl from Monat that reached out to me. I forgot what she said, but I totally knew she was going to invite me. And I ended up buying from her. I totally did, because she was like super authentic. She was super real and she was so sweet. And I bought hair products and I like them and I'm cool with that. So I could go back and be like, okay, what did she say to me that made me be like, okay. And now granted, it was a little bit different because I knew she had an agenda just because I'm in the same like market as her. Like she's in network marketing too. So like I knew why, but she did it right. And so just think about what you would want people to say to you if they were going to invite you, and what would make you say yes, or what would make you say, yeah, I'd like more information, or just to connect more. What would make you feel comfortable? And that's what you should say to people. So the people that I invite, like I said, only people that are following me, okay? Literally only people that are following me. And I start with people that are watching my stories. So this is why connecting and adding to your network is so important, because yeah, you possibly could run out of people to invite if you're not constantly bringing new people onto your page to watch you and see what you're doing and learn to love you. So I invite people that are watching my stories, and then once I get through that, I'll invite people that are like liking and commenting on my stuff, especially if I do like some kind of transformation or like a call to action. I will go down the list and I will invite every single one of those people. And then, you know, if you really do run out, just start going through people that are following you. If they're following you for a reason. And you don't you don't have to feel weird about it, okay? If they're following you, they can unfollow you. And that's something that you have to learn to like be okay with. It's funny because sometimes I'm doing my follow-ups and I'll like type in a name and the person will come up as that they blocked me. It comes up as like Instagrammer and you can click on it and it'll go to like the previous conversation you had. But that just means they blocked you. And then when you like go to their profile, it'll say user not found. Okay, that's fine. And the first time I was like, oh damn, like what just happened? Why'd she unfollow me? Or why'd she block me? And then I was like, it happens. I wasn't her jam. That's okay. I'm not everybody's jam. Not everybody likes when somebody's in your face and like moving their hands all around and like super passionate with everything they talk about. Not everybody likes that, and that's okay. Apparently all of you guys do because you're here right now. But be you, and the other people will filter themselves out, and you have to learn to be okay with that. Okay. Here's what my invites look like. Keep in mind, this is my wording. I change this all the time. This is just an invite that I've been sending lately. And I don't want you to copy word for word because my words are different than your words. And if this works for me, it's probably not going to work for you. Something similar might, but this word for word will not work for you. And the best thing that I can tell you when it comes to invites is to make sure you're making whatever you're saying about them. Make it about them. Don't make it about you because you don't matter. You are already on your journey. You don't need them. They need you. Okay? And so it has to be about them. And you have to care. You have to care. You literally have to care so much about them or else don't invite them. Okay? So something that I say to some of my challengers. Hey, Sally, thank you for the love on my transformation. Or this could be, hey, Sally, thank you for always watching my stories. I'm not sure if you saw, but I'm enrolling for my next boot camp, so I thought I'd reach out to see if you'd like to chat details and see if it could be a good fit for you. Okay? So I'm not automatically assuming that it's a good fit for her. Maybe she doesn't think it is. Maybe she's working with a personal trainer. Maybe she's doing Weight Watchers. I don't know. But guess what? If she says, and I'm going to get to this, if she says, no, I'm working with a personal trainer, thanks anyways, we'll get to that, I think, in the next slide or a couple slides. But guess what? She's somebody you can follow up with. Because maybe the trainer's working for her now, but then she can't continue to pay $400 a month for this personal trainer. And now that she's done with him, she is lost and is losing her results, and she feels like it was money down the drain. Well, guess what? You can come in and be like, girlfriend, I have something way cheaper that's going to help you keep your results, and let's work together. I'll be your coach. I'm here for you. You can even be in our community for accountability. Sound good? Okay. Coaches. Hey, Susie. So, and if you can use their name, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it feels weird. I don't know why. I go through phases. Like right now, I'm not using people's name as much because sometimes it feels weird, but sometimes it feels great. So if you go through seasons, that's okay too. Hey, Susie. So I'm sure you get asked constantly because guess what? There's a lot of Beachbody coaches out there. But if you ever consider being a fitness influencer, you're doing so much of what we do already, and I know you'd be so good. I will tell you, probably at least 70% of people that I send this invite to say, I actually have. Yeah, I have. And I ask if they've ever like tried to get more information. They're like, I literally don't know where to start. I have so many people that say, I just don't know where to start. Yeah, I've thought about it, but I don't know where to start. Well, girlfriend, guess what? I can tell you where to start. I can tell you exactly where to start. And let me do that. Okay? All right. Tracking. So here's how I track my invites. And this is something that I started doing recently. But I like tiny notebooks. I don't like full-size notebooks. But I have a tiny notebook. And I go through. Sorry, I thought I dropped something. I go through, and every single person I invite, I write their name down. Okay? And I am to the point where I have made a no matter what goal for myself every single freaking day that I have to send 30 to 40 invites. Okay? So I had a couple days this week where my full-time job just took my life over. And it was really stressful, and it was a ton, and it was too much to handle, and I didn't get my invites done. Okay, that's okay. Guess what? I can tack those 30 on to yesterday and today. So like, don't make something an excuse for yourself. Don't be like, oh my gosh, I didn't do my invites today, so now I can never do them, and that day's gone, and it's lost forever, and I'm gonna die. That's dramatic, but be innovative. Think through. We all have different schedules, and that's okay. But keep in mind that you have to make it work for you. And if there's certain days that you don't get certain tasks done, that's all right. Don't beat yourself up because that's not going to do anything. Just find a way to make it happen later, because just skipping them shouldn't be an option for you, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Okay? So I personally think that your no matter what goal should be no less than 10. I do not think anybody should be sending less than 10 invites a day. I'll leave it at that. If you disagree with me, let's talk offline. Let's talk on the side. I'm happy to like help you, but I really believe that you should be sending 10 invites a day, period. I mean, there's people that are sending 100, okay? Do you really want to be the person who doesn't send any when there's people that are sending 100? How are you going to get anywhere during that, or doing that, right? Also, so for a long, like literally up until yesterday or the day before, I was not doing the notebook. However, what I was doing is I was just doing tally marks so that because it's faster, it takes time to write down every single person's name. So I was just doing tally marks, and then I realized, I don't know my conversion rate. I have no idea how many people are saying no compared to how many people are saying yes compared to how many people are ghosting me. So this is going to give me an opportunity, even though it takes a little bit more time. And what I'm going to do is anyone who says they are interested in more information, whether it's a coach or a challenger, I circle their name. And then once I send them the information, that's when I circle their name. And then I will keep them in. This is kind of jumping ahead because I want to talk about like tracking a little bit more deep than this. But I will track them. I'll follow up with them. And then if they decide to buy a challenge pack, become a challenger, become a coach, I'll highlight their name. That way I can really see like, okay, what's my conversion rate? Because I think that's really important, and that's not something I was doing before. But I don't want you to skip that step, because to me, I was like, well, what's the point? Like, what is writing people's name down going to do for me? And I couldn't figure that out. So if you're thinking the same thing, that's what it can do for you. Okay. So these are the responses I track. So obviously I track everybody's name in a notebook. I don't really do a ton with that. That's more just for me to like visually see. But when someone says, yes, no, or not right now, that's when I really track them. So if they say no, I consider that a not right now. If they respond to me, they get tracked. If they ghost me, they don't get tracked. But if they respond to me, they get put in Asana, which I'm going to talk about soon, and they get a follow-up date, which I'm going to go into that a little bit more. So by doing this, it's how you will know what's working and what's not, okay? Whether you don't have to use what I'm about to show you in these tracking tools, but you need to use some form of tracking system, or else you're never going to be able to get to the next steps where I talk about follow-up. Okay. So my favorite tracking tool is called Asana. And I'm actually going to, I don't know. Okay. My computer like disappeared from, okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna actually show you guys. You can still see my screen, right? Can you see Asana? Okay, so this is Asana. I do not do anything super crazy. I don't do anything that takes a lot of time. I do very little in here, but it keeps me more organized than I've ever been, ever. Okay, so anytime someone says yes, no, or not right now, and I'm not going to show you guys how to set this up because that could be a different training and you guys can just Google it. but I literally have every single person, whether they're a coach or a challenger, no matter what, I literally have them all together, okay? So I'm obviously a little behind. I need to catch up on my follow-ups. But I put everybody in here. They get the line, the like main line. I don't even know what it's called. This is how like not serious I use this, but it works. So in like the main line, I put their Instagram handle. And in the comments, I put their name because people change their Instagram handles all the time. So if they have their name on there, I put their name and then I put a date to follow up. That's literally it. That is literally it. No matter what the follow-up is, whether I'm going to follow up in 2 days or 2 months, that's what I do. Period. Okay? All right, so let me go back. I just wanted you guys to see, like, this is the format that I use. And it'll tell me, like, this is red because it's like, dude, catch up. What are you doing with your life? Okay, so, and I'm going to get it a little bit into more detail in, like, I think the next slide. So Google Streak, I know that's something that a lot of coaches use. To me, I don't like it as much because it doesn't give me a date. It doesn't give me like a follow-up date. It doesn't give me a time. It doesn't give me a reminder. And so I only use that for people that are in my sneak peeks. So if people are in my sneak peeks, they automatically filter into my Google Streak because then I can either, send mass emails and then I have their email. This is where people could really argue with me and say, you should be getting everybody's email. I don't do that. I don't get everybody's email. I'm probably going to kick myself when something happens to Instagram, but I don't know. People don't respond to my emails, so I don't bother. I don't know. If I rethink that, I will tell you guys. If it feels good for you to get everybody's email that you talk to, do that. But even if you get all of their emails, I still don't think that Google Streak is the way to go. But that's just my opinion. Allie, that's all she uses. I don't even think she uses Asana. And it's cool because you can put people in different pipelines, but actually, okay, you're going to see how behind I am. But you can do that in here too, where, hold on. When you're in, so I have this like, this thing where you can put people in different pipelines. So this is where I put different people depending on what they need. Do they need a follow-up? Do they need an invite? Did I already send them coaching videos? So does that mean that I'm going to have to follow up again? So that's what that date means. Like, okay, I sent them videos about what coaching is. So that's when I'm going to follow up with them. Okay. So you can do something similar to what's in Google Streak. I just like Asana better, but do what works for you. Okay. However, I would never do a sneak peek without Google Streak. I don't think I could. It would be so hard. It would be really, really difficult. Okay. I want you to take note of the only thing in this entire presentation that has been bold, and that is the business activity tracker. I am telling you guys, if you do nothing else to track your business, use the freaking business activity tracker. First of all, it's a smack in the face of whether you're actually doing the things or not. Second of all, it's a step-by-step guide of literally how to be successful. Like, please think about it like that for a second. Please take a step back and be like, okay, if I could have anything in this business, what would it be? Obviously, probably $1 million is one of them. All right, we'll put that at the top. After that, I would love if someone handed me exactly what to do to be successful. That is this. That is literally the business activity tracker. Literally, step by step, how to be successful. How many coaches have you heard on the National Wake Up Call within the last year when they rolled this thing out that have said, I literally started using the business activity tracker and everything changed? Mind blown, literally. Okay? Like, I don't even know what else to say about that, except if you're not using it, you're doing it wrong. I'm just going to literally say, if you are not using it, you are doing it wrong. Okay? We can move on now. All right. So what happens when somebody's like, yeah, I would love more information? Invest in them. Invest in them. Show them that you truly care about them and truly care about them. Okay? Let me say it again. Truly care about them and their needs and their goals and their wants. Okay? This is not just about the sale. I have had such a better retention rate for like people going back and forth with me when I'm asking them questions, when I'm asking them about themselves. People want to talk about themselves. Duh. They don't know you. They don't want to talk about you. They want to talk about them, which is fine, whatever. You're there to help them figure out what to say about themselves. Okay? You don't want to jump into the sale. But also, I said this earlier, you don't want to throw up on them. And we all do that at the beginning, and we all have to learn, like, your excitement is amazing. But you have to tone it down a little bit and just give it to people in bite-sized chunks. You can be equally as excited, and you can say as much as you were going to say before, but break it down. Because people don't need a long paragraph that they're not going to read about things that they are overwhelmed about, because that's when you lose them. Okay? So if you're asking people things like, hey, are you working on any goals right now? Are you getting ready for any events? What does your nutrition look like? Do you have trouble with overeating? Do you have trouble with not eating enough? Do you have trouble finding the time to get a workout in? Do you like going to the gym? Do you hate going to the gym? Do you have a gym membership? What's stopping you from seeing results? Okay? Ask them all of those questions. What does your daily nutrition look like? That's like one of the first questions I ask. So like, give me a breakdown of what your nutrition currently looks like. Okay? Because then, all right, if they say, I literally eat like crap, I eat frozen dinners all the time, and I have no idea what to do, help. Or if they're like, I think I have pretty good nutrition, but I usually eat like this for breakfast, this for lunch, and this for dinner. And then you can be like, okay, maybe you're not eating quite enough. Maybe you need to add a couple little meals in there. And maybe that means some of your main meals are a little smaller, but let's get more into that later. Okay? But we got to make sure your portions are right. And giving people value and like showing them that you're not just like asking questions to ask questions, and like telling them what they're going to get is important. Not like, okay, well, your challenge pack's going to come with portion control containers. And they're like, okay, what's challenge pack? Or like, okay, you're going to do lift 4. And they're going to be like, what's lift 4? Instead, you can say things like, oh my gosh, okay, so they say they're super busy, right? I'm a nurse. This is a really easy one. I'm a nurse. So the days that I work, I have a really hard time getting a workout in. Bada bing, bada boom, here you come. And all you can say is, I totally understand. And I think it would be great if we could get you set up with something where either you're not working out on those days at all, so it's not just a stress in your mind, or maybe just one of those days, depending on if they work for 3 or 4 days, right? And then you're like, okay, lift 4. Or if they're like, I have kids and I don't have literally any time to myself. I try to go to the gym, I just can't. You're like, okay, transform 20. Or if they're like, I am getting ready for my wedding. I literally have a friend. I'm getting ready for my wedding. I have 1 month. I've been eating like crap. I have time to get my dress altered. Help. Okay, let's get you set up with 80-day obsession, and let's make sure that the last couple weeks you're doing, and I mean, you're not going to say this, but okay, I think it'd be great if we got you set up with a strict program where you have a very controlled meal plan just to start with. And something that I even actually told somebody yesterday, I was like, look, at the end of this, when you get a couple weeks before your wedding, you're going to go super, super strict on your diet, okay? And when I say diet, I mean nutrition, not like a diet. And after that, when you go back to eating like the rest of the plan, like a lifestyle, like healthy lifestyle, you're going to gain a couple pounds. That's okay. We just want you to like lose a little bit extra for your wedding. And if you gain that 1 or 2 or 3 pounds after that, that's okay. As long as you're not gaining 15, as long as you're not gaining 10. Okay. So these are the things you can talk to people about. And I know I kind of contradicted myself because I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get you set up with 80-day obsession. But you don't have to say that. Just, okay, we can totally get you ready for this vacation that you're going on in July, but we're going to have to start now and you're going to have to go hard. But I promise I will give you everything you need to see success and to make this happen. You just have to trust me. Can you do that? Can you trust me? Okay. Sorry, I need to start speeding through. I'm taking forever. Stress also, when it comes to challengers, make sure they have an understanding of what our challenge group is. And don't use that word because I feel like people don't know what that means. I always talk about my boot camp, my accountability group. But just know that there's a community of women that they can check in with every single day so that they aren't alone. People want to know that they're not alone. So definitely talk about that. And that's something you can talk about on your stories all the time too. As far as coaches, when they want more information, I think I don't use a video when it comes to challengers. I don't use a Google Doc where I ask them questions, and I do not use a video. Because if I were in their shoes, I would not watch a video. And that's how I thought about it. If you were in their shoes and you would watch a video, make a quick 5-minute video explaining what your challenge group is, what you can get them set up with, and why you're there for them. But if you wouldn't watch it, don't do it for them, okay? Coaches is a different story because I think there's way too much information that they need to know to just have it going back and forth in text. Even with voice memos, I've tried it and I've never had anybody sign up from me. I went through a phase where I was just going to try to see if it worked, and it just didn't work for me, and so I just don't recommend it. If people want to do it, they will watch videos, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to move forward with my sneak peeks, and I'm doing a normal one on Facebook this coming week, but we have to start getting a little bit innovative, and maybe like what I've been doing lately is I have IGTVs, 2 of them. Actually, I have 3 of them, but I'm only really like talking to people about 2 of them. One where I talk about what we do, one where I talk about the money. That's it. And I just say, hey, I have a couple 10-ish minute videos. If I sent them to you, do you think you'd have time to watch them? And then they could be like, I don't know, I'm going to be really busy. And then you're like, okay, yeah, you don't care. You're not invested. I'll follow up with you later. But if they're like, yeah, then you know that, okay, you can send them the videos and then follow up with them in a couple days to see if they had a chance to watch them. If you're like, I'm brand new and I don't have videos and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to talk about coaching, talk to me on the side. Yeah, let's talk about that on the side. Just remember that when you're talking to people and when you're filming any kind of video, be authentic, be you, but also show people your passion and show people your excitement. That's what's going to really pull them in and hook them. Okay, going back to follow-ups. So I do a ton of follow-ups. I probably do more follow-ups than invites, but I count. So when I said 30 to 40 invites, that is, I would say like the second half of the follow-ups. So, okay, let me clarify. If somebody says that they want more information, whether that is a potential challenger or a potential coach, I put their name in Asana and I give it like a day or 2 depending on what I'm feeling. I give it a day or 2, I put their name in, and in a day or 2, I follow up with them because a lot of times people don't reach back out. And I say, hey, just wondering if you had a chance to watch those videos. Do you have any questions? Or, hey, because sometimes people like be in conversation with you, and I'm like constantly changing the dates on people's names, especially if it's like a challenger where I'm going back and forth and asking them a lot of questions. If I'm like, hey, so what are your goals? And they tell me their goals. Okay, so then I go back into Asana and I put it for another couple days to make sure, okay, I don't want to forget about them. Because what if they respond to me, what are your goals? But then I ask them, so what does your nutrition look like? And they forget to respond. Okay, well, I have that in Asana that I know that I need to go back and be like, hey, girl, I know it's super easy to like have messages get lost in the shuffle. So I just wanted to see if you still want to chat about your nutrition or chat about your goals or chat about whatever. And a lot of times, sometimes they'll ghost you because sometimes maybe they, I don't know, change their minds or whatever. But sometimes they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I totally just forgot to respond. I do that all the time. So it's normal. People do that. It happens. So I'm constantly moving the date for people. If they say no, not right now, or ghost me, but not ghost me, not like I send them an invite and they ghost me, but like I send them an invite, they respond with wanting more information or whatever, and then we're going back and forth and then they ghost me, they still go into Asana or they stay in Asana. And I put it, depending on what I'm feeling, depending on like how I feel about that person or our conversation or even my goals, I put it a month or two later, somewhere between a month and usually somewhere around a month and a half is kind of like my sweet spot, but typically like a month or two or somewhere in between. If someone says not right now, I ask them when. And this is kind of hard, especially at first. It's like really weird, but you'll figure out your groove of like how to ask people like, okay, or sometimes I just tell them. Like if somebody's like, no, especially with coaching, like, no, not right now. Okay, cool. I totally understand how the timing has to be right. So I'll make sure I keep you posted as I have openings on the team. And they usually say, okay. So then they know. I've already warned them. By the way, I'm going to be reaching out to you again. So then it's not weird in a month and a half when I reach out and I'm like, hey girl, I have spots open again and I really think you'd be great at this. What do you think? Okay. So I never stop following up with people until they block or unfollow me. Like, I'm sorry, but I have people that literally, and it's funny because you hear people say this, but it finally happened to me just this past week where I had like 2 or 3 girls who I had invited like 7 times and they finally responded. A couple of them said, I'm not interested. Or like, I think one girl said, I'm not interested. So like, she finally was like, dude, stop. Granted, I think I put her at 2 months. So I think in 2 months, I'm still going to follow up with her again. She didn't unfollow me. Or same thing with like people watching your story. If like, even if they've never said no or not right now, but they keep watching your story, oh, you better believe they're going to get an invite from me like every other month. Sometimes every month, depending on if I'm like sometimes I'll do like super long stories where I'm like talking about my challenge group and it's like very clear that that's what I'm like inviting, like publicly inviting to. If they make it all the way through, even if I just invited them 2 weeks ago, I'm going to invite them again. And I'm going to be like, girl, you literally made it through all of my talking and my entire story. I have to ask you again, do you want to chat about your goals? I'd love to hear what you're working on right now. Maybe she'll still ghost me. I have plenty of people that I've done that and they still ghost me. And I'm like, dude, I'm calling you out. Why do you not feel awkward? Why are you not like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. She's right. I am still watching her. But whatever. And I don't stop because who cares? Clearly they like something about you or they would stop watching you or they would unfollow you or they would block you, right? Okay. All right. This could possibly be the most important thing that I will tell you guys. Hold on. Personal development. Growing yourself as a person is key to seeing success in a business, okay? You absolutely have to pour into yourself if you expect to pour anything into others. And it's just like the analogy of the teacup that, I forget exactly how it goes, but Melissa Ambrosini talks about it in Mastering Your Mean Girl. And she talks about how if you have a teacup that's half filled with water, you don't have any to share. But if it's overflowing, all of that overflow can go to the people you care about. I might have completely botched that, but that's the idea of it. Or another one. This is like my favorite one. This is the first one I ever heard, and I was like, oh, that's so good. And that one was in Girl Wash Your Face. Rachel Hollis, who will freaking be at Summit. If you do not have your Summit ticket, literally go to Summit. You can go. Okay, let me just say, I got sent to Tony Robbins for hitting diamond, okay? So Angie Belmar sent me to Tony Robbins because I hit diamond. Long story, but that's the short of it, okay? Those tickets are like $1,000. I'm not joking you. Those tickets are freaking like $1,000, right? Okay. I would not necessarily put Rachel Hollis at Tony Robbins level, but I would like put her like a couple steps down. Okay, so if his tickets are like $1,000, you can go see Rachel Hollis and me and Rayleigh and Danica and more of Team Navigate and Angie Belmar. But you can go see all of us and top coaches who just want to pour value into you for, I think it's like $190 right now. But literally that's until next week. I think like until next Thursday, and then it's gonna be $300. So I'm just putting that out there. Anyways, Rachel Hollis said, okay, she gave the analogy, I'm gonna botch this one too, but she gave the analogy of, okay, when you're on an airplane and they come to like the safety staff and they say, hey, if the plane crashes or blah, 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 whatever, and the oxygen masks come down, put yours on before helping others, even if it's a child. Why? Not because they don't care about that child sitting next to you, but because if you can't breathe, you can't help the child. Duh, like, right? Like, duh, right? I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Because at first I used to be like, oh my gosh, why would you not help the child first? You're bad people. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, if I couldn't breathe and I was dying, I wouldn't be able to save the child, right? So pour into yourself so that you can pour into others. All right. Something you will hear every successful person talk about that does any kind of like personal development, like, Tony Robbins, people on podcasts, like all of the people that we look up to and that we are inspired by, that are millionaires, that are doing incredible things, that are changing people's lives, that are coaches, that are whatever, those people that we look up to, they are doing some kind of meditation, period. This was hard for me. This was really hard for me. My mom she's a yogi. She's very like hippity dippity. And so I grew up thinking that it was stupid because I was a brat. And if my mom did it, then it wasn't cool because I was a brat. Even though my mom's like the coolest person ever. And I wish I didn't used to think that. But so I I was like really against it. I was like, oh my gosh, meditation is so stupid. And so I never did it. And then totally by accident, I was introduced to this book. Rayleigh, you know about this. You guys, if you're not religious, I'm sorry. I literally feel like I have to tell everybody this because it's changed my life in the past like 2 weeks. So I still have not figured out exactly like meditation, but what I will say is that, first of all, you're a sleeper, get out of bed. I tried to like listen to meditation, like do guided meditation first to start out if you have no idea what to do. If you can't stay awake in bed, don't do it in bed. Like I downloaded on Audible like a daily meditation, and I was like, this will be great. It'll be a great way to like wake up. I didn't wake up. I fell asleep. Please, anybody know what that reference is from? It's from Friends, if you don't know. Sorry. Anyways, squirrel. So I would fall asleep. So if you're going to fall asleep, don't do it there. So what I do is every morning I get up and I come into my office. This is new. I come into my office and I either listen to some kind of guided meditation or I have this book. It's called The Prayer of, I don't know, Jabez, I don't know. But it's literally changed my life. I'm just going to say it's literally changed my life. So whatever meditation looks like for you, do it. Find a way. And Melissa Ambrosini has a lot of meditations. She does guided meditations. She has some on her podcast. She's incredible. She has a really great voice too. So she's like easy to listen to and she's very like calming. So you can be like, oh my gosh. So I would say if it's something that's super new to you, try to do it like at least one day a week to start out with, and just like kind of let it flow into your life. And you might have to force it a little bit at first, but once you find, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I tried forcing it and it wouldn't work and it wouldn't work. And then I found this book and now I can do it, and I do it every single morning. So find something that works for you, try different things, and you'll know when you find it. Okay, I'm so sorry guys. I just talked for more than an hour. But do you guys have any questions? I have not looked at the chat box because I'm too afraid. Here, I'll stop sharing my screen. If you guys, you can unmute yourselves if you do have questions. Otherwise, I will let you go. I'm sorry I took so much time on your Sunday. All good? All right, you guys, have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for joining me. Mwah. Actually, wait. I'll send this to you guys. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. Bye.